My name is Mohamed Elmandjra. I'm the CEO of Meditel. Meditel is an operator, telecom operator in Morocco. It's the second operator. We have a client base of about 12 million users, and we're more or less the 10th largest company in Morocco. Differentiates Meditel, what distinguishes Meditel is it's actually a very interesting, I guess, success story that really started as a pure startup about 10, 11 years ago. It was a joint venture between European operators from Spain and Portugal and Moroccan investors. And a very large investment was made at the beginning, and the company developed very well to become what it is today. What differentiates us and what distinguishes us is the fact that we are very focused on innovation and very focused on speed to market. And I think those are, when you're number two in a market like this, you always have to, run faster than the incumbent for time, and then you're caught up with, and then you gotta invent something else and run faster again. So fundamentally, innovation is one of the big drivers of the success of Meditel. There are essentially two ways. There's a pull and a push. So the pull is to be able to always listen to the sort of the beat of the market and what customers tell you, and what customers actually don't tell you, but you can identify as needs, as latent needs there, and work on that from a constant effort. And the other one is more from the other way around, where you actually have an innovation group, a few engineers, few people who think about things and then come up and test ideas and see what it is. The important thing to us is that innovation is a culture. It's not, a bunch of engineering projects. Yes, those can be part of it, but innovation is a culture, and innovation is not necessarily just new products or new services. It can be in the way we do things, etc. I'll give you a very quick example. Last year, one of our most successful products that we developed and launched, actually the largest part of the innovation was not the service itself, but it was the way it was launched. It was the first product that was launched on Facebook and on the web before it hit the traditional media, before it used the usual way to launch things. So the innovation was in the how the launch was done, much more than what was the content of that. And that had a huge success because we were able to reach the exact target. It was a product targeted to youth. So we had the ability to reach the exact target of the service, and it went from 0 to close to 1.5 million customers in less than 3 months. So that's what I mean by innovation is a culture. That it didn't come out of the incubation, but it came out of the marketing department thinking about how can we do things differently. The challenges that you face in a company like this, there's obviously, I would say, two great classes of challenges. There's the sort of the performance and the business challenges. It's an extremely competitive business. Today, there's not two but three operators with very, very fast pace in this market. In this industry, you wake up in the morning and you don't know what the competitor is going to come up with, and you discover what's the sort of the surprise du jour at 10 a.m. and then you have to react to that so that things are back on track. So there's an extreme speed in this business. There's an extreme competition, because not the barriers to entry, but the barriers to reaction are very, very low. So it's not an industry where you come up with something that is patented, then you can live on it for 10 years, and then by the time the competitor comes back with something, it's an industry where you create an idea and there's a price and then there's distribution. So someone can come and just you do that, and then the next morning your competitor can do exactly the same thing. So so that puts a tremendous pressure on the business. So that's a type of challenge that you have to deal with. The other challenges are internal challenges, and you mentioned the size of the company, and being able to coordinate all these people and all the stakeholders to be able to react in such a quick way. So it's like having a cruise ship that needs to navigate like a high-speed boat. So it's very important to keep very close communication and have very fast processes, very fast decision making. Morocco's relationship with technology is actually a very interesting relationship. The Moroccan population in general is extremely aware of all of the technological developments. It's a population that is very quickly that adapts very quickly to new technologies, that has a very large appetite for new technology. And so in my experience, you've never had a kind of an issue with making people understand a concept or accept a concept or anything like that. The challenge comes in the buying power, okay? And so that creates a challenge and an opportunity. Of course, everybody would love to have their whatever latest tablet and everything, but the buying power obviously is not that of Europe or the US or even the Middle East. So the challenges and the opportunities is how to capitalize on this awareness and appetite for technology, yet provide things that are affordable. And I think in terms of opportunities for business specifically, coming and serving that need is a very potentially very productive opportunity. The advice that I would have in general for local entrepreneurs, especially in technology, is to strike the right balance in their thinking between let's go invent something new, okay, or let's take something and adapt it to local needs. Of course, I'm not encouraging necessarily people to just sort of like stop thinking and do change 2 letters on a website and make it Arabic and say no. But at the same time, we see example upon example upon example of taking, a concept of something that has been developed in more mature markets, and not just translating it, but understanding the local aspect of things and adapting it to the local. I think it's really a win-win. Why? Because very often companies in the US in particular, or in Europe even, typically don't have the resources to come think about this local market and really do what it takes to succeed here. So essentially what they do is, for example, they serve Morocco either from France or from Dubai, and it's kind of or Algeria or Tunisia, and it's kind of a kind of footnote in someone else's P&L, okay? So by doing that, of course, they can't succeed because they don't give it the full attention, and it's kind of a doom loop. They don't succeed, so they say, see, you know, North Africa is a small market, we don't really care, and so we don't invest, so we don't succeed, so, you know, it's kind of a spiral. So it's a win-win. Why? Because companies established outside usually don't have the patience or the focus to do that. At the same time, you know, entrepreneurs don't necessarily have the means to build, you know, a product or a concept or whatever to the point where it is. So they try to go and sort of reinvent things. Okay, it's a win-win because the concept, okay, wins, but at the same time, the need for local factors, okay, is very important for anything to succeed. I mean, you just need to understand what the local needs are so that you can be successful in that. So my advice would be to strike a balance between, you know, let me go invent something new that is gonna, you know, go all over the world, or let me start by, you know, getting something that is a concept that is well developed, that doesn't exist or is not well deployed in our regions, and really work on the making it acting locally, if you want. You sort of have to have a rough vision of what is it that you want to be when you grow up, okay, kind of thing. And then be very attuned to opportunities and take risks, and adjust if it doesn't work, okay. But I also think there is a balance between, okay, this is what Steve Jobs did, and, you know, when he got out of college that he dropped out of, he did this, and then he did that, and then he went to a garage, whatever. It just doesn't work. There is no kind of a recipe that you can follow to get there. I always thought it would be important to be in a position where I can make a difference in my environment, okay, and influence what, you know, my environment is, okay. I thought that was, you know, that's what would make me happy, okay, or part of it. And then from there you say, okay, well, in that case, you know, I think it's important that I get all the elements and all the ingredients to allow me to do that in an efficient way. In my experience was important is to keep in mind what I thought I wanted, to never compromise your values, okay? Because there's a difference between being opportunistic and looking at opportunities, okay? Being opportunistic and just kind of, you know, butterflying around typically is not the best way to do it, okay? Looking at opportunities and studying opportunities, every which one of them, is a very good thing. And then you have to put those opportunities through your filter of your values and say, okay, makes the cut or doesn't make the cut. And then you take that opportunity on and the next challenge.